Mic check 1, 2. What's going on? We live in the building. Think the Freedom Podcast. Yours truly, Darius Spells in the building with you. And look here. Hey, I got my player partner in the building with me. My guy. We about 20 years strong, man. No cap. No cap. 20 years strong. I got my guy Jimmy Jones in the building. What's up, Jimmy?
What's going on, dude? How you doing, bro? How you doing?
Hey, bro. I appreciate you for tapping in with me, man, and jumping on the podcast. This is number 2.
It is number 2.
This is number 2, man. So if y'all haven't caught the first episode that we talked, I need y'all to go on YouTube, check out that interview. But a lot of changed since then. I think that was 2020. I think we dropped that. Yeah. It's 2022 now. So much has changed. So much has happened. Mm-hmm. So much money is out here in this world. And it's for us to get it. And I feel like it's on us, bro, to give people the information to at least be able to know about it.
It is.
Now they still gotta act on it, but it's on us. It's on us to give them the information, bro. So before we jump into it, brother, let the people know who you are, bro, and what you're doing, and we're gonna tap all the way in.
Okay. Well, man, D, thanks for having me. Like you said, we definitely 20 years in. Go way back since HHS high school.
Funk Force.
Funk Force.
Original.
Shout out to Funk Force. Well, I'm Jimmy Jones, a native of Shreveport, Louisiana. President and CEO of Axom Development, specializing in rural sub-utility infrastructure planning. I work with a lot of different mayors and key stakeholders across the southern region, helping them, develop and implement infrastructure rehabilitation so they can have sustainable cities, sustainable pipelines. So that's what I specialize in.
Hey, that's deep. That's already deep. So let's get all the way to it. We ain't even gonna play with them, bro. Bro, there's so much going on, so much has happened, bro. It's infrastructure bill, bro. Can you really break this down to the people so they can really know the importance and how big this particular infrastructure bill is?
Okay, of course. So I'll break it down as best I can because the infrastructure bill is more than 1,500 pages, number one. So I'll just cover the high points as it relates to minorities, marginalization, disenfranchisement, reparations. Some are calling it reparations. So the infrastructure bill is the largest bill that has ever been signed by the United States president. And that plan pretty much speaks to building back America. I'm going to call it another name, putting black people back to work.
Gotcha.
So it's over $100 billion in this infrastructure bill. Ooh. So this infrastructure bill is slated to identify and reassess and rehabilitate and change our old pipe structures, bridges, roads, any type of infrastructure systems or alternative infrastructure things within cities and municipalities. Even sub-utility, like water lines, sewer lines, gas lines, fiber optics. It speaks to broadband deployment. It speaks to digital transformation. All the things that we've seen that COVID affected in a major way. It also speaks to workforce development training, specifically in an infrastructure field. A lot of these construction projects and engineering projects have byproducts, byproduct businesses. I'm going to call byproduct businesses if you have a construction company that specializes in tearing down houses. A byproduct or an auxiliary would be a company that takes the debris away and takes it to a lay-down yard. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go to college to get a CDL. You don't have to go to college to know how to read maps to find a lay-down yard. That's one. So another example of a byproduct infrastructure-based company is traffic control. All these infrastructure dollars and funds, those $100 billion that's going into these cities across America. This is happening everywhere. Before a project starts, you have what you call traffic control. All traffic control is basically setting up the cones, setting up the stop signs, setting up the flashing lights, project ahead, stop. So if you have somebody who specializes or goes into that area, that's another way you can get a piece of that infrastructure money. By branding yourself, saying, hey, this is what I do. I just only want to do the traffic control on this project. Those are just 2 examples. It's maybe 50 to 100 examples of auxiliary companies that you can start that do not require high-level education. At most, vocational training. So, at a high level, that's what the infrastructure bill talks about.
Man, that's a lot. So, bro, for the average person, average Joe, if we wanted to get a piece of the pie, what's the best way to get in and set it all up to where we can get in and be a part of the infrastructure bill, get a piece of it?
The first thing I would do as a black man, I would educate myself on what the infrastructure bill is. The way you educate yourself on the infrastructure bill, find your local chamber. Specifically an African American chamber, because usually African American chambers have access and have, I guess, more direct dialogue with minority communities.
Shout out to the chamber.
Shout out to the chamber. So those type of entities or organizations are going to have information on that. Mm-hmm. So you just begin to ask questions. You begin to ask about certain projects that fall under certain criteria. And you know, again, for example, a Shreveport, a Bossier African American chamber definitely has information on how to get exposed. You know, they're going across the whole state, you know, for doing certain things. So the average Joe, educate myself, and then understanding, okay, what do I need to do to be sufficient and effective in that area? So, for example, a lot of these infrastructure bill monies will go to pipeline reassessment. Pipeline reassessment.
What's that?
Pipeline reassessment is going in and doing what you call CCTVing the aging pipelines. Some of these pipelines haven't been replaced in over 100 years. What? I think our last podcast we talked about consent decrees.
Yes, we did.
So consent decrees are billion-dollar projects that require engineering, architects, construction workers, surveyors, soil testers, topographers. But you know, traditionally, black folk, we don't go into those areas. We go into music. We go into nothing wrong with any of that, but it's becoming saturated. But you could be a millionaire doing these type of things as well. So, say for instance, a company came in to reassess a pipeline, basically running a CCTV to make sure there wasn't any cracks or any type of dilapidations within the pipeline. The average Joe could specialize in cutting down the trees, because when those engineering and construction companies assess those lines to replace them with infrastructure dollars, sometimes they have to dig up the pipes to replace them. What happens is they also run into what you call root balls, which are trees. Mm-hmm. You have to tear down a pipe, you got to cut down those trees. So if you got to know how to cut down the trees, to cut down an oak tree, between $5,000 to $7,000. On the average street, you're gonna run into about 10 to 20 trees. So if you specialize in just cutting trees, you know that's all you do, just cutting trees.
Man, hey bro, that's powerful. I ain't even gonna lie. Mm-hmm. It's a lot to get, bro. With this infrastructure bill, I know we talk about that, but I do want to touch on, because you just went to Ville Platte, Louisiana. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about the program that you're running right now, bro? So, because people really need to understand what you really doing out here. A lot of people, Jimmy, I'll be first to tell you, man, you low key, you gonna do what you do, but bro, you doing some powerful things out here, bro. Can you break down the exact program what you're doing right now?
Okay, so what I have, this is 100% philanthropic thing that I always want to do when I got a position. Am I in full position where I want to be? No, but on my way up, I want to bring others up. I don't want to have to wait till I'm 40 and 50 years old to bring the next generation up. So I start there. So I have a program called STEM Gym Academy. There's no age limit, no cost. Not government funded, not federally funded. Everything is self-paid. What I do, I take kids and I teach them specific infrastructure-based job roles and responsibilities and show them, hey, you can do this, because I know for a fact the infrastructure bill is going to affect the United States for the next 40, 50 years. The infrastructure bill is going to make a lot of millionaires. So if I can get these young minority kids, and I take black and white kids, but for the most part, I'm looking at those kids that are not usually affected, or they don't see, you know, the outcomes that other kids see in other populations.
Not exposed to it.
Not exposed. So I take these kids, and I put them on my projects, my real world projects. I teach them how to assess manholes. I teach them how to measure manholes. That's a job that you don't have to go to college for. I teach them how to read water meters. That's a job. I teach them how pipelines and PVC pipe work. So when they see these construction companies coming in replacing their engineering pipes and replacing their sewer lines, gas lines, they are familiar with that because some of their parents don't know. Well, Mom, I learned in STEM Gym Academy that if the water meter is too far down in the ditch line, it can flood and it can affect your bill. Mom, I also learned that the ways we can conserve water and save on your water bill is not running the water too long when we brush our teeth. Another thing I teach them is drone technology. Drone technology is another auxiliary infrastructure project. Before these engineering and construction firms come in to do projects off infrastructure bill money, you have what you call pre and post construction video.
Break it down.
So, simple terms, recording, taking photographs of how a project site looks before, during, and after the project. A simple drone process. Pretty much flying over the project boundaries, getting the blueprints from the contractor or the engineer or the architects. You just pretty much flying over the project. And what that does is it protects the contractor, that municipality, and that resident. Because in some areas like Ville Platte or like these rural areas where you have a lot of racism, it's easy for a contractor to come in on a $15 million contract and say, there you always like that before. We didn't do that. So if they don't have any post-construction videos or photography, it's usually a contractor word against their resident word or their constituent word. And if nobody's there to hold them accountable, especially in a traditionally racist area, the contractor's going to win that battle. So what I'm doing, I'm making sure these kids understand how to fly drones so they can, possibly go into that field. What else? I'm teaching them about sanitary sewer overflows. That's pretty much when sewer topples the manhole. Sewer is very dangerous once it hits the air. A lot of these kids in these minority areas, these minority neighborhoods, are playing in sewer, don't even know it. They playing around manholes, don't even know it. It was a situation here a couple of years ago where a child almost died because he was exposed to sewer. And once you get exposed to sewer under the age of 12, it's a harmful bacterium called Shigella. If you inhale it, if you drink it, if you get on your hands, it affects your immune system. So they had to go to the hospital and they almost sued the city. But some things happened. We got over it. I think a settlement happened or something like that. But teaching and exposing the kids about sanitary sewer overflow. So basically, these kids in STEM Gym Academy can leave my program. Okay, they can leave my program and be ready to do these infrastructure-based jobs once they leave high school. Matter of fact, once they leave middle school. I got kids who can read water meters, fly drones. Right now. Also, Jeremy Ward. Shout out to Jeremy Ward.
Shout out Jeremy, man.
SpaceX. We have another module of the program at STEM Gym Academy where Ward teaches the kids how to build rockets. A lot of people don't know, but Jeremy Ward is one of the only rocket propulsion engineers from Louisiana. He's a rocket scientist, right?
Right here, born and raised, Shreveport, Louisiana. Huntington High School alumni. Let it be known. What up, Jeremy?
What's up, Jay Ward? A rocket propulsion engineer for one of the top space entities in the world. The leading space entity, private owned. He works right with Elon Musk. Ward does not charge, again, for passing these skills down. He's from Shreveport. We owe this to the city. We went around. We've had our own experiences. But again, what we know is if we're not giving it back, how do we expect, our city to grow? So he does videos. He pretty much teaches them everything he does about different parts of the rocket, why it's important. And it's just a really, really, really good program.
Man, hey, bro. I want to go on wax and commend you, bro. This is amazing what you're doing, brother. I'm just glad to know you, brother. Man, that's wild. And then I want you to also break down about this renewable energy bill. Mm-hmm. Can you break that down too? Man, it's so much information, y'all. Y'all need to get this information. If you watch this podcast, watch it 3-4 times, take notes, Because I'm telling you, man, the things that Jimmy are giving us today, you're going to thank him 20, 30 years from now, I'm telling you. But can you talk about this renewable energy bill, bro?
Renewable energy bill. So last Friday, Joe Biden signed a $60 billion renewable energy bill. So what that bill does, it's pretty much a eco-friendly efficiency bill. Basically, going green, making sure you promote green sustainability and efficiency. Just like the infrastructure bill, it's applicable to municipalities, higher education institutions, K through 12. But how the average Joe can benefit is this. The renewable energy bill says that if you go buy a Tesla right now, today, you can get between $8,500 back, between $8,500 to $10,000 back. And that's just not Tesla. But they're just putting Tesla out there because that's probably one of the more
popular ones.
Yeah, one of the more popular electric vehicles. So that's a tax incentive. That's an incentive. They're incentivizing renewable energy. So that's why you see a lot of youngsters going, well, we young, but even younger, the generation going towards the Teslas.
Because I even read, bro, especially in California, correct me if I'm wrong now, but by 2035, they trying to get rid of all gas cars in California.
2030, that is correct. That is definitely correct. And they're doing that because of emissions. And what's going on, this is all happening because of global warming. You know, we heard about global warming growing up.
True.
It's actually and they told us when we was kids, we didn't pay attention. It's gonna affect y'all when y'all get older. It's gonna affect y'all. It's gonna affect y'all kids. It's affecting our kids. It's affecting us.
Yeah, with global warming. Then I'm just seeing, like, I've been watching interviews. They talk about on the West running out of water. Talking about the Colorado River getting too low.
That's true.
So I'm like, hey man,
yes,
that ain't good. We ain't got no water.
That's true. So all the earth is getting hotter. The sun is growing. I mean, of course, we got millions and millions of years, but still, it's growing at a substantial pace. Coastal erosion.
Before you go, when they say the sun growing, explain that. That's the first time I heard this part.
First of all, so our barrier of protection, due to us burning these fossil fuels, due to us having high smog, when you go into these areas like Los Angeles, New York, that's why California by 2035 has to have all electric. That smog breaks that barrier, which protects us from like those that radiation from the sun.
Got you.
So that's why it's also getting hot. That's why the summers are hotter.
Man, I'm talking about scorching hot.
That's why the water is drying up. Also, coastal erosion. Another thing, New Orleans, places like New Orleans and these coastal areas can only handle so many more hurricanes. From an economic standpoint, from an environmental standpoint, because all that coastal vegetation is dying out. All those tropical fish, all those because you're in the seafood industry.
Correct.
Are you seeing a decline or a lag time in when you buy shrimp and fish?
Yes, it is.
That's because of coastal erosion. And again, it all comes from our lifestyle choices that we do every day. You know, from power plants, and it trickles all the way down.
So this really, we're going green. It's affecting the oil industry.
It's definitely affecting the oil industry.
It's really a tug of war here right now on a global scale.
It's a tug of war, and like we discussed on the last interview, it all has to do with money. And like I think before the war started, I said, "What starts wars is oil."
You did, and you brought up Ukraine.
Y'all
gotta watch that episode, bro. Bro, you said it, bro. Mm-hmm. You said it.
Yo, pay attention to those oil prices, the barrel prices. Who's going back and forth? Ukraine is probably one of the most peaceful cities in the world. Most peaceful people, get along, very, very nice. Mm-hmm. So they were trying to take over those oil reserves. So to get back on that renewable energy, also, the federal government is incentivizing solar panels, monocrystalline and polycrystalline solar panels. So, say for instance, you have a home and you're having a high energy bill. You can go green, and you don't have to fully retrofit your home with solar panels. But if you can just go halfway, they'll incentivize that because you're promoting that green. You're promoting green energy. You're promoting that bill. Another thing. So just like by 2035, California has to be California legislated that all cars must be electric. What you're going to start seeing on major highways, 10, 20, 30, 40, even the ones that run parallel, charging stations.
The only one I seen in the street was the one at St. Vincent Mall.
Yeah, in the next couple of months, next couple of years, that'll be a good thing to invest in. Charging stations on major thoroughfares. You know, I'm just giving it out because,
that's game.
Just like you see a uptick in electric cars, those cars have to be charged.
Got to be charged, baby.
So they're going to outfit. You're going to see charging stations in the rural areas, charging stations on the highways.
Man, that's wild, bro. Who would have ever imagined we see this? Mm-hmm. But it's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening. Golly, but that's okay.
Yeah. Ooh. And we talk, we talking fast. I call you sometimes, but it's all, I love, people always say the game is to be sold, not told. I totally disagree. Because, number one, I believe when you are giving out information to your own people who have been oppressed for 400 years, mm-hmm. Number one, that's where you get your blessing from.
Facts.
We already 400 years behind. If anybody has sold us the game, it's the oppressor.
Facts.
Not us.
Not us.
So we're so in bondage to fighting each other. Mm-hmm. So that whole mindset of sold, not told is absolutely not true. It's enough money to go around. It's enough opportunities. You just have to dig deep, be creative, even if you're not that creative. If I know there is opportunity in D's field and I can't do it, why not tell D about that field? Right? Even if D is my competitor, D can go do it in Alaska. It's a whole world.
Big world out here.
So that's one thing I live by. I don't hold in information to myself. And I contribute that. I contribute my success, a lot of my success, to that, just being open, being honest, being transparent, and helping as many people as I can, and impact many people as I can. So another thing that I just want to say that has helped me grow is I stopped chasing payment and just started chasing impact. Like I used to always look, check about what the bag is, what's the budget. I used to say, what's the budget? But when I started really, really chasing impact, my life changed. It literally changed. When I started helping more people, when I started helping and giving information out, to just giving it out every time, I get blessed with another opportunity. From all over the southern region. So that's something I'm still growing. Not perfect, but I definitely can attest to investing in your people, being happy for your people, taking away that envious attitude, and just, being value, being of value to somebody, Your blessing ain't their blessing, their blessing ain't your blessing.
Yeah, man. That's fast, man. What God got for you, you gonna get it. Mm-hmm. That's the way I feel like everybody should really look at it, man. It's enough for everybody. Mm-hmm. There's billions of people out here in this world. You don't need but 1%. You don't even need a 1%. You need a 0.5% of a billion people. That's a lot of people. It's a lot of clientele, brother. Jimmy, I appreciate you for tapping in, bro. Before you get out of here, bro, let the people know how they can get in touch with you, stay on top of your movement, and just be in tune to what you have going on, bro.
Okay, well, I got an Instagram page, _ Jimmy Jones Official, Jimmy Jones on Facebook. You can hit me up at any time. Feel free to inbox me. If I don't get back with you right then, I promise you to be at least 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah.
So,
hey, man, you really broke it down today, bro. We got to do part 3 now.
Yeah, when we do part 3, and I know we got to go. This is something I had a discussion on today. And I'm bipartisan to this, but when COVID hit, I hear a lot of people talk about, you don't need school, you don't need education, you don't need this. You can hustle your way out of it. That's partially true. It depends on what you're doing. You know, in my field, you have to have a paper behind. You have to have that paper, that criteria, that education, versus somebody who may not have it. So I encourage, adults, who are on either side of the track to understand both parts and see how it works. Because to get in some fields, you may not need the same qualifications or requirements to get in other fields. Because what's going on, I'm seeing a lot of people say, we don't have enough engineers. We don't have enough this. We don't have enough that. Because, there's a rhetoric I'm starting to see come about saying school isn't important. School, education, whether you go to school, whether you learn it on the streets, whether you're using it to build yourself, all education is important. Because kids don't understand when you say you don't need education, they can't break that down to the levels of what you're saying, because that's your outcome. That's your perspective. But I just want to encourage, especially our generation, to be open. College ain't for everybody. Trade ain't for everybody. Do what's best for you. Do what's best for your kid. Understand early on what your kid is good at. I don't have any children, but at a certain age, high school, your child should be playing every sport. Yeah. Going into college, he should be getting ready to focus in on whatever they're going to do.
Thanks.
So knowing early on what your child is good at. Your child can't live out your Deion Sanders plans.
Man, that's a big gem, dog. That's a big gem, like, bro. We got to get in and let them know early, like, hey, you got to keep it, son. Now, you want to play ball and get you a free ride with college, man, I'm all for that.
Right.
Everybody not making it to the league.
That's correct.
But you can make league money doing something else. Being a businessman.
Being a businessman. Whether you go to college or whether you get your education another way, you still can make the money.
Still can make the money, man. Hey, that's a gem, man. Make sure y'all do that, man. It's the Think the Freedom podcast. My brother Jimmy Jones in the building with me. We're going to do part 3, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and we do part 3, probably, I don't know how we going to do it. We going to do it. And when we do it, we going to do it big.
We're going to do it right.
Make sure y'all tap in. Make sure y'all like this video. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave us comments. Leave us feedback. And let us know things that you want to know. So when we do the 3rd episode, we going to talk about it. Right. If our hearts and minds are clear, we'll see y'all when we see you. Did. That was quick right there, brother.